My dear students, as we are talking about avoiding the subjective language, it must need to be avoided. Otherwise, it can lead to other serious issues. In addition, this could create an issue in an equal employment opportunity investigation, because equal employment opportunity laws cannot allow you to use the subjective language while taking an interview notes. So you must need to be avoided. Following are some of the additional examples of subjective language, and that should be avoided. The purpose of mentioning such kind of examples that you must need to be avoid such kind of languages. These are just an example, and you can make your separate list of subjective language, so you can deliberately avoid such kind of subjective language while taking an interview notes. So here is a table showing some of the examples of subjective language. There is an abrasive, then acted high, acted like a real, appears to be rich, a real sales job, a real alcoholic. Then you can say arrogant, because it's a very subjective language that you are mentioning someone as arrogant. Bad dresser. This is not a right way of saying that there is a bad dress. You can say that the dressing is not appropriate to the current job which we are going to offer to the candidate. Rather saying that you have a bad dress and you have a bad attire. Then boring. This is a very subjective language. If you are saying someone boring, he may be offended. So must need to be avoided. Calculating, careless, chip on his shoulder, cocky, cultured, curt, diligent, easily distracted, eccentric. So such kind of languages and other synonyms of such words must need to be avoided. In contrast, here are some examples of objective language. Because if you are speaking something subjective, you must need to replace that subjective language with objective language. So here are some of the examples for you that you can know that what are the objective language which must need to be replaced by the subjective language. Number one, this job requires prior customer service experience. Applicant has 2 years experience as a customer service representative. So in this objective language, you are just telling about the appropriateness of the candidate to that particular position of customer service representative. Rather than telling something about customer services representative qualities, you are just saying that the person has a customer service experience which can be matching with the requirement of the job. There's another example. This job calls for excellent verbal skills. So there is job which must need an excellent verbal skills. Applicant exhibited. Just see the language, beautiful language they are using, which is objective language. Applicant exhibited clear and concise verbal skills during our 60-minute interview. So this is very objective. They are giving you a number of minutes in which the applicant is exhibiting the verbal skills, clear and concise verbal skills. And those verbal skills are matching with the requirement of the job. So this is another beautiful example of an objective language. Then number 3, this job includes working with highly confidential matters. Then they explain that applicant has never worked with confidential matter before. So they are matching something with the confidential matters, and the applicant would not have such kind of skills. Then they are explaining it in an objective way that the skills of an applicant or the experience of an applicant while dealing with a confidential matter is not there. So maybe this candidate is not suitable for this particular position because he has not an experience to handle the confidential matters. Number 4, this job requires employees to be on call. So applicant said one of the reasons he was leaving his current job because his current job was on call and found it disruptive to his personal life. So this particular statement is also very much objective, and it is not going to hire the candidate because the candidate is not interested to be on call because he is already leaving his job, current job, which is on call, and that on call duty is very much disruptive for the personal life of the candidate. So this candidate is not also suitable for the job which is on call. So my dear student, these are the few of the examples and which are very objective statements, and you need to use such kind of examples and writing notes when you are taking an interview. So you have to compare subjective versus objective language, and you have to replace subjective language with a more objective language while taking notes for an interview.